Welcome to Accreditation Made Easy, the podcast that takes the stress out of accreditation. I am your host, Areaka Jewell, and in each episode, we'll deliver actionable tips, expert insights, and practical strategies to help streamline the process. And of course, make your work life a little easier. Now, whether you're tackling policies, preparing for assessments, or just looking for ways to stay ahead, we've got you covered. Let's simplify accreditation, one step at a time. Have you ever noticed that some of the most useful features in Power DMS are the ones we tend to use the same way every single time, right? Assignments are one of those features. I'm talking about the ones you add to your assessment inside Power DMS. For most accreditation managers, assignments mean one thing: adding assessors before a mock or a formal assessment. And for sure, that's certainly their most common use. But over the years, I found myself using assignments in several other ways that have made the accreditation process feel a little more collaborative and honestly, a lot less stressful. Hi, I am Areaka Jewell, your host. Welcome back to another episode of Accreditation Made Easy. Today, I want to encourage you to think outside the box. During a formal assessment of one of my client agencies, the command staff had observe rights to the assessment, meaning they could see all the files, but more importantly, they could see the overall statuses, including those that were being entered by the formal assessors. So throughout the week, as the assessors updated the standards, leadership could log in whenever they wanted and see the assessment's progress for themselves. And it was live. Nobody had to stop me to ask every couple hours, how's it going? What's their progress look like? Instead, everyone had the same real-time picture that I did of where the assessment stood. I thought that was such a simple but effective use of assignments. It created that transparency without creating more work. But it also reminded me that assessments aren't really about giving people access. Well, technically they are, but not the kind where they can change or mess anything up. I'm talking about giving the right people the right level of access at the right time. Now, another situation where I frequently use assignments is when I'm mentoring another accreditation manager. Years ago, we probably would have emailed screenshots back and forth or maybe downloaded a PDF of the standard and emailed it. Today, there's no need for that. If I need to review a chapter so that I can offer suggestions or answer questions about a specific standard, I can simply be assigned to the assessment, or not the whole assessment, maybe just a portion that we're working on. And if the accreditation manager wants feedback, I can be given rights to leave tasks directly in the standard that I'm making a comment for. That's where they belong. Everything stays organized, and we're both looking at the exact same information. Another example, I've also seen assignments work really well with subject matter experts. I'm talking about those in your agency who own specific processes. Think like your training coordinator, maybe your property room supervisor, records supervisor, communications manager. They don't necessarily need access to your entire assessment, but they may benefit from reviewing the standards that directly relate to their responsibilities. So again, instead of sending screenshots or asking someone to review a printed copy of the standard, all you do is simply assign them to the applicable chapter or standard and let them see exactly what the assessors will eventually see. That often results in better conversations and fewer surprises later. Another idea? Succession planning. If someone in your agency has expressed interest in accreditation, maybe you're getting ready to retire, whatever, consider giving them observe access to the assessment. It's a great way for them to learn how standards are organized, how proofs are attached, and how the assessment evolves throughout the cycle. They're learning in a real environment instead of from screenshots or books or demonstrations. Now, before you start assigning everyone in your agency to the assessment, let me share with you one lesson that I learned the hard way. Early in my career, I experimented with giving team member participation rights to people throughout the agency so that they could upload documentation directly into the standards that they supported. Now, from a collaboration standpoint, it worked beautifully. People could contribute documentation without the needless emails back and forth. But it also taught me an important lesson. The more responsibility that you give someone, the more careful you need to be about the permissions that come with it because everyone handles it differently. And that experience changed how I think about assignments. Today, I ask myself 3 questions before assigning anyone. Who needs access? What do they need to accomplish? And what's the least amount of access they need to do that successfully? And most of the time, the answer is they just need observe rights. Sometimes it's participate, but participate in a role other than the accreditation manager where all the files live. The important thing here is being intentional. And just remember, assignments aren't just a setup task that you complete before the assessors arrive. Think of it as a collaboration tool that can help you involve your leadership, mentors, subject matter experts throughout the entire accreditation cycle. So, this week, I have a challenge for you. Open up one of your assessments and click on the Assignment tab. And instead of asking yourself, who are my assessors? Ask yourself this. Who else could benefit from seeing this assessment? And you might discover a new way to make accreditation just a little bit more collaborative and not so siloed. Now, of course, if you'd like the quick reference on how to set up assignments, including the difference between observe and participate, I'll put a link to the companion document in the show notes. Now, if you found this episode helpful, I would really, truly appreciate if you would share it with another accreditation manager. It's those personal recommendations that are one of the best ways to help others discover this podcast and continue building a stronger accreditation community. Or better yet, share the link to sign up so that they can get all this content right to their inbox each week for free. The link will be in the show notes. All right, friends, thanks so much for listening. And until next time, let's keep making accreditation easy, one step at a time.